Hello everyone, how's it going? Can you believe we're almost done with August? It's incredible. I'm just happy that fall's almost here. It's almost fall, y'all. Hey, it's 12:30. That means that you and I have an appointment. It's time for Discuss It with Drake. That will be me. Welcome to episode number 63. And today's topic is going to be investigating disaster insurance. Do you have disaster insurance? A lot of people don't. Actually, I think most don't. But before we get started, just remember, if you ever miss a live broadcast, all you need to do is just go over to YouTube. YouTube is like everything, right? YouTube is like Encyclopedia Britannica, okay? Your own set of encyclopedias on how to and what is. Of course, millennials don't know what those are. But anyways, head on over to YouTube, type in Drake's Real Estate TV, hit subscribe, and let's get started, right? And make sure you say hello in the comments. I'd really appreciate that. So, homeowners insurance plays an important role in protecting your home and everything within it. So with any luck, you'll never actually need it, right? But it does provide a nice safety net, in case, the worst comes to fruition. But did you know that there are some things that can happen to your home that actually aren't covered by homeowners insurance? It's true. So if your home is damaged by a natural disaster such as flood, earthquake, tornado, you actually may find that your existing insurance policy doesn't cover these natural events. And in some cases, even some man-made disasters may not be covered if the damage was caused by something, like an explosion or a riot or something. Regardless of the cause, recovering from a disaster can be very, very expensive. So to help protect against these costs, in the event of a disaster, you usually have the option to purchase additional disaster insurance that gives you additional coverage actually beyond what your standard homeowner's policy provides. So let's talk about the limits of homeowners coverage. So some homeowners believe that their existing policies cover everything that can happen to their homes, only to find out at the worst possible times that they actually aren't covered. So this usually is a result of exceedingly rare occurrences such as flood damage. Emily, you're killing me. Rare occurrences like floods, earthquakes, or wildfires. And I say rare, but it's funny because it seems to be happening more and more and more and more. Depending on where you live, I'm sure that you see these come through your area. I'm here in Southern California, and we don't really have floods so much because Lord knows we aren't getting any rain, but the wildfires, of course, are pretty intense at times. And because new construction has been pushed out into further and further areas in the mountains and stuff like that, those are all fire zones. Okay, Haven House up by Arrowhead, fire zone. So it's crazy. So even though insurance policies that claim to cover all damage typically make exclusions for a few types of disasters, since those disasters actually aren't localized to one specific property or home. So if you aren't sure what sort of disaster coverage your existing insurance has, just take a moment to review your policy, or better yet, call your insurance agent, okay? Within your policy, you should find some specifics about your coverage, as well as any exceptions that the policy is not going to cover. So if you want protection from those uncovered instances, you just need to pick up additional coverage. So, how does disaster coverage actually work? Well, depending on your insurer and the type of disaster coverage you want to get, there are a few different ways that you could actually get additional coverage. You may be able just to buy a blanket disaster coverage that covers multiple disaster types, even though it still may have a few exceptions built in. But if this isn't available, or if you want coverage for a specific disaster type, you actually may be able to buy a single disaster policy that only covers that individual disaster type. So depending on your insurer and policy availability, your disaster coverage may be available as separate policies, or it may be as simply as in addition to your existing homeowner's policy. Again, check with your agent for that. Once you've taken out your disaster coverage, it will fully function similarly to your existing insurance. Should a disaster occur, your claim will be filed against your disaster policy or any disaster add-ons that you've purchased instead of your standard homeowner's insurance. And depending on the type of disaster and any other damage that may have occurred, there may also be claims against, your health insurance, your vehicle insurance, or other insurance types that the disaster insurance won't replace. It's not going to replace or supersede any applicable insurance. It just happens to close the gaps that previously didn't have coverage. So, do you need disaster insurance? Well, whether you want to pay the additional cost of disaster insurance largely comes down to personal preference. By their nature, most disasters, like I said, are pretty rare, but some areas are more prone to disasters than others. Florida. But the more likely it is that you could wind up in a disaster, the more beneficial the disaster insurance actually would be to you. But keep in mind that disasters still can strike any location, even if they're not common. So it is worth noting that if you live in an area where occasional disasters are likely, such as floods, if it happens to have a track record of heavy flooding during certain seasons when you may not be able to get certain types of disaster insurance, or you may have to pay higher premiums. For instance, fire insurance. There are a lot of areas where fire insurance premiums went up 300% in some areas, right? It's crazy that this knocked a lot of things out of escrow. And some places just were not renewing fire insurance. So if you are here in Southern California and you are looking for fire insurance, my guy, his name is Tim, is fantastic. He's with Farmers, and I know that a lot of people have had their insurance coverage dropped because they're just not doing it anymore. But Tim came through and still continues to come through. And so contact me and I'll put you in touch with Tim. I'll try to tag him below as well. So that's really all I have for you today. I hope you found the information useful. I just want to give a shout out to Homekeeper for providing me the information that I can provide to you today. And as always, please don't keep me a secret. Share this with everyone you know. And again, if there's a topic that you would like me to cover in the future, just let me know. I'll get it on the calendar. I hope you have a fantastic week. Be kind to one another. Don't forget to live, laugh, and love. And until we see each other again, when the next move matters, put your real estate needs in cruise control by calling Drake for Homes. All right? Thanks, everyone. We'll see you later. Take care.